I'm Merlin George.
And I'm Erin Calderera. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Inside Acadiana.
Throughout the show, we'll introduce you to people who want answers, are willing to sacrifice,
and are winning while fighting exceptional odds.
We begin with a cold case in Lafayette. One morning in 1974, Russell Foote was a Red Cross executive. He was on his way to work, but someone killed him.
Emma Lacey looks into the unsolved murder and explains why Foote's son, Kevin Foote, thinks all it takes is one person to come forward and why now is the time.
This is harder than looking at a scrapbook. On the morning of May 17th, 1974, my dad, who had 3 children and a wife, drove to work. On his way to work, he apparently stopped in the middle of the road. Someone came behind him and shot him and killed him.
In 1974, Lafayette's Red Cross director, Russell Foote, was found murdered in his car. 44 years later, Foote's son, Kevin Foote, believes now is the time to revisit the case.
We know way, way more than we knew before I started this process. So the hope is that things are being done, people are being interviewed, and we just have to hope that we find the right person.
In 2017, Kevin Foote spoke to the original investigator of the case. There were a few clues, but a lot of suspicions.
His basic thing was, in his mind, he thought the prime suspect was guilty, but they never could get the gun.
And the grand jury refused to indict the prime suspect.
Well, you know, one of the things I wish they would have done is collect her clothing the day of to see if there was anything there. But theoretically, with the detective back then, if he's correct that he believes she did it, that there might have been some blood or gun residue or something.
Just 3 years after the murder, the case goes cold due to circumstantial evidence. In November 2017, Kevin Foote receives a 712-page file of incident reports, witness statements, and evidence logs. But even with all of that, it wasn't what Kevin Foote wanted.
A lot of things that could be evidence now have been lost. I think more search warrants could have been gotten, and I think more things could have been done maybe to pull things from the actual crime scene.
The advancements we have now in DNA and forensic testing can potentially lead to a breakthrough. If you know any information about the case and would like to report it, call the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office at 337-232-9211. For Acadiana News 1, I'm Emma Lacey.
Dealing with underage drinking is an ongoing problem for many parents and police departments around the country. In Abbeville, police and business owners are taking a collective approach to stopping those who try to buy and fining those who disregard the laws and sell to minors.
Underage drinking and teenagers purchasing alcohol do not mix.
A little while back, we wound up doing an alcohol sting in town, and we cited several local businesses, convenience stores, as well as 2 clubs. We sided with juveniles in the club, them selling alcohol to them.
Police routinely work undercover to address the problem. Lieutenant Jason Hebert is with the Abbeville Police Department.
Revenue. The more people that come in, purchase alcohol, the more money they make. It's all about the buck.
That profit risk comes with an expensive consequence, costing anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
The laws are really strict, and they're still doing it. I don't know what we can do to stop it, other than the club owners being responsible, making sure that these children are not entering their club and drinking, police enforcement, public awareness campaigns, ads.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people the ages of 12 to 20 years old account for 11% of the alcohol consumed in the United States.
Some minors get away with purchasing alcohol by using fake IDs. Courtney Alford works at New Orleans' original daiquiri bar.
There was one incident where I did get a fake ID. I remember particularly, it was a girl who came through the drive-thru who had an ID that expired in 2014. And when I looked at her, she had a different hair color and it looked similar, but when I scanned it, it didn't work.
It's why she pays close attention to every customer.
We have a very strict policy here, especially from the owners down. They get on us every day almost about IDing everybody. We ID everyone that's inside of the bar. We ID everyone outside of the window.
Law enforcement officials are cracking down on monitoring businesses and making sure they are not breaking the law. Coming up after the break, we found out what one local hospital does every year to help women in our area when it comes to a life-saving test.
And Donovan Aubert introduces us to basketball players with different abilities, but not limited determination on the court. Stay with us.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
45 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart attack, a cardiac arrest, and then a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from invisible or silent. Get back on your plan, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Sometimes it's hard to get the money to pay for a mammogram. That's exactly why Acadia General Hospital is raising money and doing it with the community and getting in shape.
Carly Waldweiler takes us to the inaugural 5K fundraiser.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Acadia General Hospital hosts its first Colors of Hope 5K to raise money for the cause.
Julie Payne has seen firsthand the struggle of breast cancer.
I have a couple of family members that has breast cancer, and I know a lot of ladies that has been through that struggle. So yeah, we try to support all of them.
But the test is affording the mammograms. LESSIE DOUCET explains how Acadia General Hospital is trying to help.
We thought it'd be good to give back to our community and donate the money that we raise to pay for patients who are uninsured to have their mammograms covered at no expenses to them.
Over 70 runners participated in Colors of Hope.
The run is fantastic. You know, the paint thrown on you, it's just all exciting.
Not even the weather could slow down runners like Caroline Novak.
It wasn't like terribly hot and it was drizzling a little bit, so that felt good.
Colors of Hope raised about $8,000.
A lot of women have cancer, just to help them with all the costs and stuff. Like, you're never alone.
For Acadiana News 1, I'm Carly Waldweiler.
It's always nice to see people helping others defy the odds.
And it's also always nice to see people beat the odds. Donovan Aubert introduces us to a different type of basketball.
Thanks, Aaron and Merlin. Well, LeBron James and Stephen Curry define elite and successful NBA and perhaps overall exceptional athletes. But some athletes fight for respect and inclusion on the court as they battle physical limitations, still finding love in basketball. Ethan Dumas introduces us to the Lafayette Rolling Rage Cajuns wheelchair basketball team.
We're constantly pushing, pleading our case to say that, hey, we are out here, striving and fighting just like anybody else. I've been in a wheelchair this year, Halloween Day, it'll be 16 years. Off and on, I've been playing wheelchair basketball for 11 years. You don't feel you wither away just sitting at home. So this gets a lot of these guys out of the house, you know, from old to young. You know, a lot of these guys that's young, they get hurt, you know, early. They don't know about sports. Just learning how to actually maneuver the chair and learning how to take the chair and implement it into defenses and offenses, it can be pretty tricky. These chairs, they're kind of like slanted out, which allow us to turn left to right with very velocity. And the wheels are in the back, there for stability, for we can actually lean back and not fall and tip out of our chairs. You know, we're unable to play able-bodied basketball, so we have transitioned to playing in still the same game. The rules are a tad different, but it's the same game. The ball goes in the hoop and we get 2 or 3 points until you actually see the game. And when you see it, you're like, okay, now I understand what's going on. Now I can see how this can be competitive. Now I can see how this can be an actual sport. This is not charity to us. This is our actual sport. We want to be recognized and acknowledged as something. We're athletes. Just because we can't run and jump, that doesn't make an athlete. You know what I mean? You know, there's different ways to define an athlete.
RAVARE hopes that one day wheelchair basketball will be recognized by the NCAA as a sport and be properly funded so young disabled adults can participate in college athletics also. A high school football coach wants his team to do more than score on the football field. Amos Sterling takes us to Vermilion Catholic for the story.
The community supports the team. The kids are super kids to coach, and that was the main reason.
With more than 30 years of experience as the football coach at universities like Texas A&M, Louisiana Tech, and ULL, it's safe to say Kevin Fouquier knows the game.
It's not all about wins and losses. I'm trying to teach these guys, these young kids and everything else, how to be a man, how to be whenever they become a father in life, how to become a husband, a good husband whenever they older in life. It's not just about football.
Vermilion Catholic was the perfect fit for Coach Fouquier's coaching style.
I've been helping and volunteering for the last 7 years here. We got a great community family network here in Abbeville.
Coach Fouquier and his guys follow 4 core values.
All right, we talk about GFEC a lot. It's posted all over the place. What GFEC stands for is God first, family, everything else, and communication.
Vermilion Catholic has been on a roll in the 1A district. Head coach Kevin Fouquier and his troops are hoping to have a championship season this year. With Acadiana News 1, I'm Amos Sterling.
Northwest High School in Opelousas always have a normal school day, but like several other schools, this day is filled with fun and school spirit.
Success, always. It's a lot of trial and error, and there's a lot of ups and downs, but whenever you do finally succeed, and even if it's only one part of that, it is very revealing and enticing, and it makes you want to keep trying to do better and better.
When it's time to practice, everybody just got to come with that mindset and mentality. It's time to work. You know, it's like preparing for a test. Like, you got to study before you get better. Well, we got to practice before we get better.
Makai, you too? This is my lovely principal, Miss Jackson. I'm her lovely assistant.
Just everybody happy, joyful. It's Friday, just ready to play everybody.
When it comes to the sound of authentic Acadiana music, there's one man who creates an instrument that a computer cannot replace. Stay with us.
Green red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Festival season is always fun, the food, and especially the authentic Cajun music.
I got to meet up with the maker of one of Cajun music's famous sounds, the rubboard. You never know what amazing things the people in your community are doing. Here's a look at Don Landry's world-changing artistry.
That's what I'm known for. That's how they know me, you know?
But you'd be surprised who knows Don Landry. The owner of Key of Z Rub Boards has met people from all over the world.
Sunset is actually the rub board capital of the world. Like that picture right there, that's a tour bus that showed up over here unannounced. Parked on the street. They were from Belgium.
Right here, in a tucked-away Sunset shop, sits the Rub Board Factory, a smaller-than-small room that has handcrafted over 3,800 rub boards.
I can tell you what number this one's going to be. This one's going to be 3,888.
Each new board gets a number. The number, similar to a serial number, is put on a pin, and the pin on a map.
These are all pins. I number them all. This is some of them. I don't even put them up anymore because it got too crowded.
Filing each board in his own system, Landry records every order the old-fashioned way, by hand.
I'm on my 4th composition book now. The other 3 are full. That's from the time I started counting. I made some before that, and I decided to start numbering them.
What his father didn't see, the start of this family tradition, which led to Landry's own rub boards hanging in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., and in other museums around the world.
I don't know how many he made. I don't think he made many. My dad is the one who invented this part of the rub board, the shoulder strap part, in 1946 for Clifton and Cleveland Chenier, the King of Zydeco.
And he kept it going and going until the world shared his love.
Oh, that's a lot. That's my life. That's my love. You know, that's what I like to do.
For Acadiana News 1, Erin Caldevera.
If you want more information, you can visit the website at keyofzrubboards.com.
Looking forward, our next special segment will be Acadiana at your service. We hope you join us. Thanks for spending time with us. I'm Merlin George.
And I'm Erin Caldevera. We'll see you back here next time on Acadiana News 1.